Could Byword be the writing app for you? Hi there, my name is Brian Collins. Welcome to the Become a Writer Today channel. I'm a big fan of writing apps that support Markdown and which are minimalist. If you're not familiar with Markdown, it's basically a way of formatting your work for publication online and also for other formats. It's quick and easy to use. I also like minimalist writing apps as opposed to a word processor like Word or Google Docs because I find I can write in them faster. I've tested a lot of these Markdown apps, and in this video I'm going to profile Byword. Now if you do like this video, hit thumbs up, and if you want to get more reviews like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. So here's what you need to know about Byword. It was first released all the way back in 2010. A version 2 was released approximately 5 years ago. The question is, even for a minimalist writing app, has it been superseded by other apps in the space? I'll answer that question in a few moments. It's available on the Mac App Store for your iMac, which is what I'm using it on, and also for your iPhone, which is what I sometimes use it on. You can also use it on your tablet. My tip for you is writing on a tablet with a good keyboard is a fantastic writing experience because it's a nice small screen and these minimalist apps are perfect for them. You can buy Byword for your Mac on the App Store for $10.99, and then you can buy the mobile version for approximately $6 as well. There's no renewals, there's no monthly subscriptions, so it's a once-off payment, so it's cheap and cheerful. Unlike other writing apps, it's also relatively cheap, or even more cheap than other minimalist writing apps. So here is iAWriter. It's an app that I use and love and regularly recommend. However, it's also a little bit expensive if you're starting out. It costs $49.99 for the Mac version and similar pricing for iOS, but it is available on Windows, whereas Byword is not. Ulysses is another popular writing app, but this has a monthly subscription. Now I use Ulysses extensively for long form writing projects and for managing articles for the sites that I run. This costs $39.99 per year or $5.99 per month. And for that you can sync it across all of your devices. So it's just basically a once-off payment. So as you can see, Byword is the cheapest of the minimalist Markdown writing apps that are out there. But what is it actually like to use? When you open up Byword, this is what you get. A flashing cursor and a blank. When you open up Byword, this is what you get. A flashing cursor and a blank screen. What more could you want? Well, basically, you can use this to start writing immediately. No need to worry about fonts, rulers, spacing, and so on. I've gone ahead and written an article and saved it to my clipboard. I'm going to paste it into Byword so you can see how it handles Markdown and why it's minimalist. So this is the article in question. Few things to cover. Firstly, this first hashtag here means that this is automatically formatted as a H1 or heading. The two italices here, or single italices and double italices, means that Bitcoin is in italics and Twitter is in bold. Similarly, I have a URL in the article that I have put in with a bracket down at the bottom, and I've also added some bullet points as well. So to show you what this looks like in context, I can simply preview my article. So if I go to File, and then if I go to Preview Markdown, or I can use the shortcut, which is Option Command P, you can see that this is formatted for publication online. So now I have my heading, I have my block quote, I have items in bold and italics, and so on. Now I can simply copy this as HTML, and I can paste this directly into WordPress or onto my website and go ahead and publish it already formatted. That's why I love writing with Markdown. It's quick and easy, and Byword excels if you like writing with Markdown. My other option is to click Export. Then I can save a local Markdown file that I can use with any good text editor or document editor or import, and I can save that to my desktop. Or my third option is to publish directly to my sites. So I could publish to Medium, WordPress, Tumblr, Blogger, and Evernote. No support for newer publications or content management systems like Substack or Ghost just yet. Not sure why you'd want to publish directly to Evernote, but anyway, you can add your services by simply clicking on the plus here. And that's pretty much it. That's how you use Byword. You just go in and start using Markdown to write your article quickly and easily. Now it does have a couple of other features that are worth covering. So it supports tabs, so I can click on this here and I can open up a second article. So I'm going to paste in the same article just to show you it in context. As you can see here, it's actually brought over the HTML because I copied the HTML. And then if I do this, I can have them open side by side. So this could be a good way to refer to one article or perhaps one chapter in your work while you edit a different one. Then when I'm finished working with the article, I do have to save it. So when I press X, I'll be prompted to save to a Byword folder in iCloud. So again, that's one difference between Byword and other minimalist writing apps that I've used. The other ones, or the newer ones, do not prompt you to save. They do that automatically. So you do need to worry a little bit more about document control. So I'm not going to go ahead and save that because I actually don't want that article in my series of folders. But let me show you what the folders look like. So I'm going to navigate to iCloud Drive. I'm going to navigate to Byword. And you can see here that this is the article in question that I had open on screen a moment ago. So basically, when you use an app like this, you can have a series of files inside of your Byword folder. And then if you get bored with Byword for some reason, you can just open them up with IA Writer or Ulysses or another writing app. And that's the other reason why I like these apps. You're not locked into them. So I could use Byword, and then if for some reason my needs change, I could move on to something else. And actually, my needs changing are why I don't use Byword as much these days. Now, I don't need that article that I removed a few moments ago, but I do want to keep this one. So it's currently set as untitled. So I'm just going to click on this here and call this a sample Byword article. Now, if I go to iCloud or my files and folders on my Mac, I can navigate to the Byword folder and I can find the same article and I can click spacebar and I can preview it. And this is why I like these apps, because I can access the files and folders on any Mac or iOS device, and I can open them up with any minimalist writing app. So I can open this up with IA Writer or Ulysses or whatever else I use. I'm not locked in, and it's all still formatted for the web. I could also change from one writing app to another if my needs change. And my needs changing are why I don't use Byword as much these days. So you can see here I've only got 2 files in my Byword folder. However, if I go to IA Writer, you'll see I have a lot more files. I have dozens and dozens of articles that I wrote over the years, and I have a Ulysses folder with the same amount. To explain how my needs have changed, this is Ulysses. So you can see here I have all the same Markdown files, but I've grouped them using features inside of Ulysses, and I'm able to drag and drop them around and see them all inside of the library section of Ulysses. But they're still saved as files on my computer. On the other hand, if I go back to Byword, there's no real way for me to manage lots of files apart from using the file manager here or just opening them up direct. So while it's fine for writing a short article, if I had dozens of these articles, I would find myself spending a lot of time managing the files directly rather than using the library feature that you get in Ulysses and now IA Writer. It's also not possible to interlink your notes or your articles internally. So you can do this with IA Writer, but not Ulysses. What do I mean by interlinking? Here is IA Writer, and I have an article open about celebs buying NFTs. And if, for example, I wanted to link to a different article, I simply press this twice and then I type in the name of the other article, and now it's automatically linked to 2 of them. So this is a way of interlinking your notes, building a personal knowledge management system. This is a way of building a personal knowledge management system or type of Zettelkasten. So Byword doesn't do any of that. You're just going to use it simply to write articles, and that's it. You're not going to use it for managing big writing projects. The writing experience in Byword does come with a couple of other little features, but nothing that's going to get distracting. To access them, simply click on View. So you can hide the tab bar. You can show the tab bar. You can enter full screen mode. Now I'm on a large monitor, so I find full screen mode overwhelming, but I use this all the time if I'm writing on a laptop or a tablet or a smaller screen. You can also enable paragraph focus. So this is similar to an IA Writer feature whereby it will just focus on one paragraph that you're writing and put that in black and everything else fades away. Personally, I find this a bit distracting, but I know some writers like it. So I normally disable it. There's also line focus if you really want to go hardcore. Again, I don't use that as much, but I know some writers do use it. Typewriter mode is something that I use quite a lot. So to explain how this works, let's say I'm writing this section here. You can see it immediately centers it in my screen and always keeps my screen centered wherever the cursor is. So I use that quite a lot, and it's helpful for larger monitors because you don't find yourself looking up here and then looking down here. You can also hide the counters at the bottom of the screen if you find word count, and so you can change it to a dark theme. So I like to use this when I'm writing at night. There are some text zoom features as well. And that's pretty much it. There's no templates. There's no other options that you can use inside of Byword apart from really what I've shown you. For the purposes of the review, I also bought the mobile version for iOS. So you can see here I can add locations, I can add iCloud, Dropbox, and just pick files on my phone, or I can click open other and I can just search for whatever files that I have. Now in this case, I'm going to go to iCloud, and you can see here that I can access the exact same article and it's formatted in the same way. And I have a series of buttons here where I can add images, I can do and undo actions, and I can add various formatting options based on Markdown for the web. And again, that's pretty much it. There's not much else to Byword apart from that. And I suppose that brings me to the downside of Byword, in that it doesn't appear to be actively developed or updated. It does what it says on the tin. It's a minimalist writing app that supports Markdown and supports publishing to the web. Do not expect any extraneous features like managing a library of documents and so on. Do not expect internal interlinking. For that, you need to look at IA Writer and Ulysses. That said, if you just want a basic Markdown minimalist writing app, if you don't want any subscriptions and you want the cheapest one out there, but you're not going to use Google Docs, then Byword could potentially be something to consider. And it is rock solid because it uses iCloud Sync. That's an overview of Byword. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you do, let me know in the comment section below. And to get more reviews like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.